Welcome, everybody, to the Boba's Alliance official podcast, What the Fett? I want to give a shout out to Disruptor from the Rise of Vizsla, who submitted our winning podcast name, What the Fett? And I'd like to introduce our hosts, Avi and Calliope, and I am Maklar. In this podcast, we'll be bringing you a variety of great information and guests to talk about things like game strategy, things like territory war, territory battles, Grand Arena. We'll also be having folks on to talk about guild management, game tips and tricks, recruitment, all the latest things happening in the game from Alliance standpoint. Today, for our very first inaugural episode, we'll be talking about Boba's Alliance, what our podcast is all about, and giving you a bit of inside information on your hosts and what exciting things are happening in the Alliance. So I'd like to go first by way of introduction to Calliope. So Calliope, introduce yourself a little bit. How long have you been in the game? Tell us a little bit about your guild or guilds if you've got multiple accounts, and what's your favorite part of the game, and what's your least favorite part of the game, and why?
Hey everyone, it's great to be here. It's Calliope. I started playing Star Wars back in 2017. I was first part of the Dagobah Guild in the Republic Alliance. I was guild leader for a little while. And after having my account there, I took on another account, which was from a player named Serge. And that is when I joined the Boba's Alliance, and I joined Bravehearts, which is the bestest guild ever. Tons of cool people in there, not to toot our own horn, but I love it. And I've been in that guild for over a year now, and it's been fantastic. My favorite part about the game is probably, well, it's been TV, but let me just clarify by saying that I am not a huge fan of the new TV, so I would say that's my favorite part, and it's also my not favorite part of the game. But enough about me. I'm dying to hear from Avinash. Let's turn over to you, Avi.
Hey, hi, I'm Avi, and welcome to the podcast, our first one here. I've been playing since day one, basically. And I have several accounts. I just kind of kept starting them. I've never played a game ever that I didn't have more than one account. There's some other games where I have like several characters. Like one of them I have like 35 characters or whatever that I play. But in this case, I mean, the most accounts that I've had at one point was 10. I've definitely whittled it down to 5.5. And that 0.5 is actually a 900K account. That's the guild leader of Thunderhearts, which is a retirement / burnout / vacation guild. And I pretty much don't have to do anything with that. I am currently the guild leader of technically 3 guilds, 2 within Boba's Alliance. One of them is Bravehearts. I've been the guild leader there for more than a year and a half now. But I've been in that guild for, let me think, 2.5 years. Wow. It's hard to believe it's been that long. And I love it there. I mean, it's granted, it's really, really super busy. But I've got an awesome bunch of people in that guild. And like I said, I'm also the guild leader of Thunderhearts, which is kind of associated with Bravehearts. And I will give a shout out to some of my former Conquer Dawn people that are now in ID Force. It is not called Thundercats, all right? I just want to make that clear because they always make that Thundercats reference.
Yep.
I'm also leader of Alliance Alpha, which is a top 10 guild, and that is actually in another alliance called the Alliance. And I've been basically there for a year now, and that's definitely keeping me busy.
Okay, so I've got a follow-up question on that. You said you have run as many as 10 accounts.
Right.
How many accounts are you currently running and active in? Getting your 600 in every day, actually purposefully building them. How many accounts are you currently active with?
5.5.
5.5 accounts.
Yeah, 5.5 accounts.
That blows me away. How do you do that?
It's basically just time management and the fact that I use a emulator on my laptop and I can put up like 4 screens at once. So frequently when I have like territory battles, I can just go into whatever node that I want, whichever battle, get my team set up, click on enter the battle for each of them, and then I just hit auto. And then I just kind of watch myself.
Wow.
on that. And I can get it done all at once. Same thing with like 600s. I usually keep one account in each guild up at least, so I can kind of keep my eye at all times on all the different guilds that I have at this time. I've got 4 accounts right now in Bravehearts. We needed to have some fillers, and I have 1 account in Alliance Alpha and 1 account that's in Thunderhearts right now as the guild leader.
That blows me away. I've tried to run multiple accounts on several occasions, sometimes just babysitting other people's accounts while they're on vacation or something like that. And I tried to purchase a separate one that I figured I'd be cool and I'd have 2. And it was just too much. So I guess I'm a wuss when it comes to this sort of stuff. I need to be ultra focused, but it might go to my OCD in terms of I really have to focus on one specific account. So I'll take that as a segue to introduce myself. I'm Maklar. I am in ID Force, and I've been with the Alliance now for not very long, about 6 months. I started with the game back in 2016 in December, I believe, and I started really as just a collector. Didn't pay much attention to the game really for the first couple of years. It's when the Sith Raid first came out and really disrupted the game. I was part of a fantastic guild called X-Elite at the time, and it just disintegrated. I've never seen anything like it. In 24 hours, it went from being super strong, we're all together, to everybody left. And it was through a whole series of events and some of the people that I met there that I actually started getting involved in the game. And Ekkel, who is currently the guild leader of Force, had been pestering me for a couple of years to come over and join Boba's Alliance. And finally, I did, and I'm so happy I did. Now, this is another question that I have for both of you, though, with 5.5 accounts, it might be hard for Avi to remember. I'm currently running at 4.7 million GP, so I've been playing for a while. And again, I started off as a collector, so when we talk about what our favorite parts and the least favorite parts of the game are, my favorite part of the game really is going through and trying to help people to advance in the game. So that's kind of a cop-out, maybe. I love GA. If I have to choose a part of the game, Grand Arena Championships is where it's at for me. I absolutely love it. My least favorite part of the game would be, sorry, Calliope, territory battles, the old ones, the Hoth ones. Oh, they're so tedious. And I love the new territory battles because they're hard and difficult, and it's finally new content that you just don't go in and put on auto. You've got stuff to work for it. It goes to my collector mentality, right? I have to go in and now have to focus on building up these new characters. I just like that.
Yeah, territory battles is actually one of my favorites. And even the new one, as frustrating as it was to set it up and get everybody to do their stuff, I actually enjoyed it because it's something to look forward to, because it's not a content that anybody can complete right now. It's kind of more like end game content, and it's going to be taking a lot more. My least favorite, which I forgot to mention, I apologize for that. My least is TW and GA. I hate them with a passion. I have been in games before for many, many years, and I used to like the hyper competitiveness of like the PvP aspect of it. And it's just one day I got burned out, totally, completely, and utterly burned out. I will do it, but I hate it with a passion. And unfortunately, I have to do it because I'm the TW lead.
Oh. Nice.
So not just the TW lead, but, basically I am the co-lead in my other guild. And so it's quite the task to come up, and nobody wants the job. Nobody wants to be the TW strategist and all that other stuff. So I'm kind of stuck with it. And I've been stuck with it now for a year. And although, we've only lost 3 in a year, but still, I don't know what I'm doing.
Apparently
you do if you've only lost 3 in a year.
Was going to say, I think you do.
I honestly don't look at the mechanics of it or anything like that. I just can look at it and go, I think this will work. And it kind of ends up doing it, but I have no real strategy or theory crafting involved.
Well, I think that's one of the really cool parts of this game is that there are so many different game modes. And I talk to people all the time that love this or hate that. If I had to choose a close second, just regular arena. And actually what I probably should have chosen over TB is I despise fleet and ships. But especially arena, the way that it's been for the last year with this meta that is all Revan all the time, I find it so boring. And what I love about GA is it allows you to broaden your base. As a collector, I like that, and try to do a little bit of theory crafting, and I enjoy that. Probably the reason that I couldn't do 5 accounts, and maybe the reason you hate the PvP stuff so much, is you've got 5.5 accounts. I'm able to focus on one account and build that out and really do put my effort into Grand Arena. I can't imagine trying to run 5 Grand Arenas at the same time. That would drive me insane. Let alone Territory War.
Yeah, I've done it. And it just about, well, at the same time, you're doing Territory Wars the same time you're doing Grand Arena. I'm about ready to go cuckoo sometimes. So I've kind of got to a point where Grand Arena is not my priority. I will do it maybe with 1 or 2 accounts. And then the next time I'll do 2 other accounts. But I'm just not going to do them all at once. And everybody says, oh, you can just set your defense and just leave it. Well, it doesn't work that way, because you have to judge, because how high my accounts are, you really have to look at each of your opponents, what they have, what their mods are and stuff. And so you have to set different teams for each different ones according to what is and isn't. So it's not a matter of, here, I just have a bunch of teams, I'm just going to plop them in. It just doesn't work that way for me. I'm a little OCD in that sense. I can't just leave it.
Absolutely. And don't you feel that, to use the phrase 4D chess, I think that there's quite a bit of mind games. If you notice, like, a lot of people really, there is a lot of kind of, mind games going on where you're trying to figure out how your opponent's going to set up their board, offensively or defensively, and making sure that you're getting the right call. Because if you both do the same or both do it's like there's so many things that could go awry if you don't judge it correctly. So it's very stressful. I mean, it can be very stressful, I think.
Absolutely. That leads me to the question that I had for the two of you that I alluded to earlier. What are your GPs? And you can just give a range, Avi, if you like, unless you happen to know them all. And what are the GPs of the 2 accounts that you run, Calliope?
Well, sure. I'll just jump in since I have, fewer accounts than Avi. Should go through the list. So the main account that I have in Bravehearts, I believe it's at 4. It's at 4, if I'm not mistaken. Although, don't quote me on that. I'm not totally sure. Not looking at it. And then my old Calliope account, the one that was in Dagobah, that one's sitting right around 3.3 right now, I think. I'm just not as active on that account.
And Abby?
Let's see. I have a 900K, a 5.2, 5.2, 5.3, 5.3, and 5.4.
Oh, wow.
What? Okay. Amateur.
That is crazy. Right.
So, I know the GPU of my accounts. Yeah.
That's awesome. Which one do you enjoy playing the most?
Oh, wow. I enjoy playing my 5.4 because I've pretty much got everything on that one. And my second account, which is actually the GL of Bravehearts. Those 2 are my favorite ones to play.
Okay, and something comes to mind here that came up in a previous conversation that you and I had that I need to confirm officially on the record. You have a G12 character that most of us probably haven't considered taking up to G12, and you love it. Can you tell me what that character is?
Ooh, Brood Alpha. Yeah.
See, that one's good.
Wow.
That's fine, but everybody's going for Brood Alpha. This is one that would be a shock to most people.
Don't take a Gamorrean Guard.
There you go.
What?
Abby loves her G12 Gamorrean Guard.
Wait, no.
Actually, I did. I just
silly.
recently G12'd my Gamorrean Guard. I did. Because
So you thought it was a joke, Calliope, but no.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
What? That
he's
was
like
a total random.
He is one of my favorite characters. I don't know why. I think that he's going to be the new meta. So I G12'd him. And I've got him modded up really, really good. And in the next GA, that puppy's going to go in there and he's going to be squealing like a bunch of bacon.
Aw. Poor. Well,
all right. So now
interesting.
We all get a little bit of insight into your fearless leader.
Yeah.
Abby, who has called it, Gamorrean Guard is going to be the next meta.
Definitely. What can I say?
Well, we'll be looking for an update from you after the next GA on precisely how well he does. It would scare me, to be honest, if I went into GA and saw a fully G12 well-modded Gamorrean Guard. I have no idea how to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping.
All right, well, we've gotten the introductions out of the way. The main part of this podcast, though, is to talk about all of the exciting things that are happening within the Alliance. There's really a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. First of all, Abby, can you tell us a little bit about Boba's Alliance? How and when did it start, and how did it become the 40 guild behemoth that it is today?
Oh my goodness. Boba's Alliance started in August of last year of 2018. There were a couple of guilds that were in another community that basically got frustrated with how things were operating in that community. So Praetorian Guards was the first one to leave. Actually, it was formerly Concordon, but they left, became Praetorian Guards. And then shortly after that, my old guild, Coruscant, had left that community as well. And we just kind of we always got along really well. So we just kind of hooked up, just shared a server, and we weren't actively advertising or anything for people to join us. And pretty soon people just kind of wandered over, and it's like, hey, can we share your server and stuff? And so then we started kind of getting an idea. This was about a month before we actually created the Alliance. And the next thing I knew, I wake up and boom, we had Boba's Alliance. And gradually people just came to us. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. It kind of came and went, depends. But we were determined that anybody who joined the Alliance was going to be operating their guilds however they wanted to in that sense. It's just basically autonomy for the guilds, and we just share a server to which we can share resources and have fun, have a great time. And that seems to have really been a nice thing. It's the four of us who founded it. We decided that we were going to run it the way that a lot of other alliances shouldn't be running theirs. So we were determined we knew the good and bad of it. So we were determined to take the good parts out of it. And of course, there's always going to be bumps in the road and such, but we just kind of determine what happens at that point, and we try to resolve it in the best ability we can. And then we just kind of move forward. And so far it's been pretty darn good. And we haven't had any major thing going on, which has been great. And we're up to 40 guilds, and we're trying to cap it off at 40, but it's you just can't help a little wayward guild that needs some help. So we can't help it.
Well, we could do the math and figure out what the max for 40 guilds are, but how many people are actively involved in the Alliance right now? How many members do we have?
We have, 1,472 at the moment.
Are those that are on the server, or are those that are in the guilds? Because not everybody that's in the guild is on the server, correct?
Correct. Actually, we would probably be closer to about well over 1,500, maybe closer to 1,600 if everybody was on Discord. But we've got some smaller guilds to which you've got starter people, and they're not Discord people yet. They're not on Discord. So we're trying to get everybody kind of more active on Discord in that sense. But currently the people, we have 1,472. We can't do much more in terms of guilds itself along with the channels, because Discord does have a limit to how many channels and roles that you can have. And we've definitely capped that at one point a while back.
Well, I mentioned that there are several things that are happening within the Alliance, some initiatives that are taking place in order to provide some pretty cool stuff. Do you want to talk about what those things are, what's going on?
Well, one of the things is the podcast that we're doing now. This is something that we've been wanting to do to provide insight and services and resources to the people within our Alliance. We're not here to service the entire Swogo community. That's not what we're here for. We're here to service our little community so that, we can continue to grow and provide an education to all of our members. We are also now the owners of the Rancor or Crouching Rancor bot. And if you don't know which one that one is, that is one that does to where you can request a character and what mods would go with that character. It's also the most popular aspect of it is it provides the arena payouts for both ships and regular arena. So if you've got that little percentage sign and type payouts, that's us. So now Boba's Alliance has taken that over. The previous persons just wanted to give it up at this point, hasn't been in the game for a while and wasn't going to maintain it anymore. So I took a screenshot and sent it to our guys, and it's like, we're going to jump on this because we wanted to save it because it's an awesome bot. The guy Zarist, I just want to give a shout out to him. Thank you very much. We really appreciate all the work you've done to help us get that transferred over and get it set up. And we're live, and we're going to be probably expanding it and fine tuning it. And we've also, not only do we have 40 guilds, but we also have a bunch of programmers and developers in the Alliance. And we are also not just working on fine tuning the CR bot, maybe developing some other bots, as well as some guild management tools that we can provide for our Alliance members and possibly, the rest of the community. We also have, go ahead. You're going to say something?
I was just going to say that that's a really important thing to call out right now. Not only do we have several people that we've already identified that have skills to help in these various things that like the bots that you've talked about, but also the things that you're going to talk about here in a minute. We want to point out that if you are listening to this and part of the Alliance and you have any of these skills, please get in touch with us and let us know that you would like to help, because we are looking for folks that really want to get involved, that have skills, that maybe even want to learn some skills. We can do a little bit of mentorship in some cases. But if you are a person that has any experience in some of the things that we're talking about and you would like to see how you could get involved, please get in touch with us via Discord. You can contact Avi, you can contact we'll probably put links in here to folks that are heading up the various aspects. And we would love to get everybody involved in this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're just kind of like up and coming. It's really coming together. We also have a website, bobasalliance.com, if you guys want to check that out. That's where we're loading up for recruiting. We're putting a lot of recruiting information, including posting what guilds we have. We have really cool pictures and information that you can look up our different guilds. We also have the Fett Gazette, which is our online newspaper, basically. And we've got we really appreciate any writers as well that might be interested in writing some articles for the Fett Gazette. I'd like to point out that one of people in my guild, Bravehearts, he's an officer there, part and parcel, has written a 2-part article called The Nitty Gritty Guide to Grinding God Mods Without Going Broke. So that's a 2-parter there. And it's a great read, and that's something that we're looking for. And also Jonah, who is the guild leader of Carbonti Hunters, has also written an article called Thinking Out of the Faction, in looking at the different factions that aren't in the game itself. So that's a really good read as well. And we're looking for more writers, more information, anything that you might have a specialty of. We're also looking for programmers and developers that know Java or JavaScript, maybe worked with Unix, that are also system administrators, that type of a thing, website, anything, developers, anything like that. We would really appreciate any help with that, because the more we have, the more we can spread the load out and the more we can get stuff done. And I think that we're just going to be a really, really big up and coming Alliance as it is with all the stuff that we plan. So much going on.
Outstanding. We also have a YouTube channel. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. And that's where we're going to post our podcast. And, whatever else we might come up with as well.
So what are some of the other things that are going on in terms of, I think we have some folks that are pretty good at putting together videos and doing video editing, and also some people that are already some content creators in terms of putting together training videos and tips and tricks sort of videos. What's going on with that currently, and how can we expect to see some of that content coming out?
Well, I know, let's see, Mike Hunt is one of the people that's involved in helping us out and creating some of the videos. We've also, some of it I'm not as familiar with because some of it's just kind of over my head. And I do try to keep up with it, but it's just so much going on.
I know we've got McFly 2411 that is putting together some of the intros and outros to various videos, and we have contract creators like Mike Hunt, and also we've got other folks within the Alliance that are already developing certain sorts of content, putting together content such as, how does this faction beat this faction sort of stuff. And we're trying to bring that all together so that we've got a more uniform presentation of this stuff so that we can help not only the end game players that know how to do all of this. So it's not just going to be how to use Darth Revan to beat Darth Revan or whatever, but we also want to put together videos for some of those starting characters that are trying to build up so that they can fill out their rosters and get JTR and get Revan for the first time and that sort of stuff. So I'm really excited about those sorts of things as well. And I know that there's been I get to see the chat on Discord in the background, and I see them going back and forth on some of the things that they're trying to put together. And I'm really excited about that. So I think we can just tell folks for now to be kind of looking for some of these things. Not only are we doing the bot, not only are we doing the podcast, not only are we doing these various other things, what we're really trying to focus on is bringing as much content to the Alliance as possible to help not only the endgame players, but especially those smaller guilds to advance their rosters, to advance their gaming, and to teach them. This is the thing I'm passionate about, in case you couldn't tell, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. I love the idea of taking the knowledge of us endgame players and using that to help the newer players to grow and really thrive in this game, because it can be frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. And we've got a wealth of knowledge and experience here in this Alliance that we can help those smaller guilds to really grow and contribute and have fun.
I agree, and you definitely said it better than I would have. On that. Excellent. Yeah. Very excellent.
So let's talk a little bit about this specific podcast as one of those pieces of content that we're putting out. What are your visions, both Avi and Calliope, for the types of things that we're expecting to be bringing to folks in our future episodes?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, one thing I'm very interested in is that over the years, since I've been playing the game, one of my favorite aspects are the people, the bonds, and the bonds that you make, and the friendships that are made along the way. So what I would love to do is feature players or people that we know, or people that we want to know more about, and get their take on the game as well. Get some tips or just their background, talk about the things they enjoy, just kind of like what we did in our intros. So I would look forward to getting to know some of the other players as well.
I agree. That's one of my favorite aspects. One of my favorite aspects is the social aspect of it. Sometimes I think of the game as kind of secondary to all the social interaction that we have here in this Alliance, which is a lot. And I absolutely love it. We've had so much all over the world. We've had some officer meetings. We've had some voice chats. We have Tyranitor from, oh my God, I forgot which guild it was. Oh, crap. I'm so sorry. Where he's saying because they reached 45 stars in light side territory battles. And so we got to hear sing. And it's little things like that that really make an alliance or a guild or the people special within the alliance. And that's something that I really want to build up and keep up, because it's the social aspect too that helps everybody develop and everybody learn. And if we can do that, then we can conquer just about anything.
Well said.
Absolutely. We have several things that have been recommended as topics for future podcasts, and I'm excited, like the two of you are, to bring on people and to introduce folks that maybe we see talking on Discord and we don't get to hear them, we don't really get to know them. But we have lots of people in this alliance that have expertise in certain areas of the game, whether that be territory war, that can come in and maybe give Avi some pointers, not that you need it with your record, but because you hate the strategy, can come in and talk about some of those things, or Grand Arena, or maybe somebody that has come in and developed or been aware of some tools that can help with the new territory battles. perhaps we can get guests from outside, maybe some YouTubers or some other folks to give us some information. But I really would like to get as many guests on as possible, and particularly focusing on people within the Alliance to give them a voice and to introduce them. I agree with you guys that it's really the social aspect of this game that makes it fun. And the more that we can humanize each other and have this conversation, I think the more exciting it is.
I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely. I love it.
So with that, we'll also throw out to everybody, if you have a specific topic that you're interested in us discussing, if you want to get a little bit more information about, some of the topics that were thrown around were things like guild management. What does it take for an officer to manage a specific aspect of the game, or what kind of efforts does a guild leader really throw into the game? And do we have any tips or tricks for new officers, new guild leaders? Another thing was a request to talk about how do you choose a guild that's right for you? Mm-hmm. There are some folks that love a certain aspect of the game and guilds that fit that, or maybe don't fit that. So what are the various things to think about when you're looking at choosing a guild? Going along with that, recruitment. What sort of things do we look for when we're recruiting for our guild, and what kind of people are we looking for? So there's all these types of topics that we want to make sure that people have the ability to access the expertise of folks that have really put in the time and effort for these things. Another one was to talk about the various tools that are out there and available, whether they be spreadsheets or the numerous bots that just individuals can use. I love the DSR bot, for example, since I like GA. You can run the DSR bot and you can get a detailed rundown of how your roster matches up against another roster. Not everybody may know that. So we want to bring these sorts of things out and have fun doing it.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just totally stoked about it, and I'm excited to keep up with this and do a lot more podcasts and have people and friends on. I've got a couple people that I can bring in from a couple other alliances that can come in and talk about some stuff. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Well, with that, I think we've run our allotted time, and I'd like to thank you ladies, for letting me participate in our very first episode of What the Fett.
What the?
And if anybody else has any cool sound that they'd like to get to us, we can incorporate that as well. We've got some pretty cool stuff that we didn't use this time. But thank you, ladies, so much for all of this time. I had a really great time. I'm looking forward to the next time that we do it. And do you have any closing remarks? I'll go to you, Calliope, first.
Well, I'm just excited to be a part of this podcast. Looking forward to chatting with you. Looking forward to sharing lots of great content with everyone. It's great to be here.
And you can close it out for us, Abby.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for listening to our first podcast. If you have any comments or anything, just click the like button as well when we post it on our YouTube channel. And if you put some nice comments for us, if you have anything in the game or on Boba's Alliance, just contact us and we'll be happy to take a look at it and maybe put it on our next podcast. Thank you very much for listening to us. Have a great one.
All right, and everybody, that is What the Fett.
What the?
Can't get enough of that sound effect. God bless you all. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you, ladies, and we will be talking soon.